Hey, Master. Are you tired of being underestimated? Wait. Really? Did they just think you're weak? Damn. They have no idea what's sleeping inside you. You've been pushed aside, laughed at, dismissed, but guess what? That was their mistake. Your rise is coming. You're not here for empty words, okay? No fluff. This video will hit you like a lightning strike. You're about to see truths they never wanted you to know. And trust me, by the end of this, you're gonna feel sharper, stronger, and untouchable in ways they can't even imagine. Are you ready? Hold up. Before we dive in, let me give you credit. Yes, you. Yeah, you who showed up today, even though the world doubted you. You're the real legend, the one who's ready to rise above all the noise. Welcome to our channel, Darkness Throne, and smash that like, comment below your story. Let me know how underestimated you've been. This isn't just another motivational video, it's your wake-up call. Stick till the end, because every second is designed to hit hard. Awaken your fire and make you question everything they thought they knew about you. Are you ready to see the version of yourself they never expected? Power is patient, resting in the corners where no one bothers to look, pretending to nap while people stroll past, believing you're harmless. They think your silence is emptiness. They think your calm is surrender. They think nothing inside you could ever wake. But they never ask what happens when quiet strength decides it's done, pretending, when stillness exhales and reveals its teeth. They misread your pause, and in doing so, they struck the match that lit the edges of your restraint. You learn to fold your strength like a letter never sent, tucked away until the right moment arrived. Every test they threw only scraped the surface and made the paper inside you burn hotter. They sparked something they were never prepared to face. Something built from patience, sharpened by years of being underestimated. The quiet ones always notice more, always read the room deeper, always catch the patterns others skip. You weren't silent because you were weak. You were silent because you were watching. So when they pushed, they didn't realize they were knocking on a reinforced door, built from your scars and discipline. They expected retreat, but retreat was never your language. You simply waited for the hinge to shift, for the right fracture to appear, then stepped through it, carrying a presence they couldn't explain. Now their eyes widen when you enter. Their tone changes without meaning to, because something in you has risen that can't be ignored. You discovered quickly that loud voices fade fast, but steady minds cut deeper. While others rushed to prove themselves, you watched from the edges where truth speaks in quiet tones. Noise never impressed you, because noise collapses the moment pressure leans in. You measured strength by composure, not volume, by how steady a hand stays when the room begins to tilt. Nerve is the currency of real contenders, the subtle force that turns hesitation into precision, and you learned to trust it long before anyone noticed you were studying the field from behind a calm, unreadable face. People could never understand how stillness becomes strategy, how patience sharpens focus until it feels like a blade tucked behind your breath. They called you slow when you were calculating. They called you distant when you were preparing. They called you harmless when you were becoming something else entirely. You didn't rise by shouting your intentions. You rose by holding your ground when it felt easier to fold. Every unseen choice thickened your resolve. Every silent moment tightened your grip on the path ahead. Nerve guided you where noise would have trapped you. And now your presence speaks louder than any voice raised in panic. There's a part of you that stayed hidden behind restraint, watching quietly as people measured you by the fragments you allowed them to see. They never sensed the depth beneath your calm or the strength shaped from every moment you endured without complaint. This version of you was forged in silence, built from trials that taught you how to bend without breaking and rise without noise. It waited for the right pressure, the right spark, the right moment when holding back was no longer strategy but limitation. And now that moment has arrived, peeling open the layers they mistook for your limits, and revealing the force you were never meant to hide. Let them face the truth they worked so hard to provoke, because this version of you does not step out for applause, it steps out for clarity. Pain taught you lessons no voice could deliver, carving truths into your patience one quiet moment at a time. It stripped away illusions, forcing you to see who you were when no one clapped, no one noticed, and no one cared if you rose again. It trained your focus, tightening your resolve until hesitation felt foreign and doubt felt smaller than your next step. While others ran from discomfort, you learned to listen to it, to read its messages like a map etched across your past. Pain didn't break you. It shaped your grip on reality, sharpening the instincts that push you forward now. And every strike you took became the reason you stand stronger than anyone ever expected. They mistook your stillness for weakness, your quiet for surrender, your patience for fear. They moved recklessly, testing boundaries, expecting chaos to follow, never realizing that calm is a trap, a silent edge waiting to strike. Precision doesn't shout. It waits. It calculates. It lands where they never see it coming. And when it does, it leaves a mark that reverberates long after their arrogance fades. You learned early that people respect only what they fear or what they cannot predict. Your calm became your weapon. Your patience became their mistake. Every measured move now carries weight. Every decision now bites deeper than their expectation ever imagined. Silence has power most people never recognize until it's too late. They thought your quiet meant fear. Your restraint meant weakness. Your stillness meant defeat. They were wrong, spectacularly wrong. Every word you didn't speak became a building block for something stronger. Every pause a rehearsal for the moment they would finally see. You let them underestimate you. You let them grow careless. And when you finally moved, it wasn't loud. It wasn't frantic. It was deliberate, precise, and undeniable. Their assumptions became your advantage. Their misreading became your ladder. Every silent second you allowed built the weight of your presence, and now they face the version of you that was always awake, always waiting, and always ready. You don't need noise to announce yourself. Loudness is for those who lack substance, for those desperate to be seen. Real power doesn't shout. It moves. It shifts the air, tilts the room, bends attention without asking for it. Every step you take carries gravity. Now, every gesture pulls the weight of someone who has endured more than they could ever imagine. You rise not to prove them wrong, not to demand respect, but to embody it, to make it unavoidable. And when they finally notice, it will not be because you begged for acknowledgement. It will be because your force refuses to be overlooked. The world leans in naturally when something formidable awakens, and you've learned how to rise with that inevitability. They thought they knew your limits, thought they could push and measure, thought they understood the edges of your endurance. But testing a mind like yours was a mistake they could never foresee. Resistance is what most expect. Resistance is simple. But evolution, Evolution moves quietly, reshaping itself while they squabble over the surface. Every challenge they threw became a tool. Every shove became a step forward. They watched, thinking they controlled the game, unaware they were teaching you to ascend. And now you move differently. Smarter, sharper, faster, an upgraded force they never imagined existed. What they saw as defiance was only the rehearsal for a transformation that leaves them stunned in its wake. Storms don't ask permission. They gather quietly, darkening skies while the world carries on, oblivious to the power building above. That's how you move now, unseen, unnoticed. Every step measured, every breath calculated, every moment waiting for the perfect break in their defenses. And when the time comes, impact hits like lightning. Sudden, scorching, undeniable. You don't announce your approach. You don't seek applause. You arrive where they never expected, leaving traces of your force etched into reality before they can even process it. The storm doesn't beg for attention, and neither do you. But when it strikes, nothing is the same again. Real strength doesn't need a stage. It whispers, it lingers, it reveals itself in the tilt of a head, the steadiness of a hand, the quiet patience of someone who has endured. People search for grandeur, for spectacle, for theatrics, but the weight of true power settles in subtleties they overlook. Every measured glance, every calm refusal, every step taken without hesitation radiates a force they can't name but can't ignore. You learn to let strength flow naturally, leaking through actions too precise to be ignored and too deliberate to be accidental. And in that quiet presence, they finally understand. Power doesn't scream. It permeates. It moves. It consumes. You don't climb to settle scores. That's a path for the small-minded, for those who let anger dictate direction. Your rise is precise. It's intentional. It sets the record straight. Not for them, but for yourself. Every step forward corrects what was once tolerated. Every achievement redraws boundaries they assumed they controlled. This isn't about payback. It's about alignment, about becoming the version of you that was always meant to stand where you are now. And when they witness it, they see not chaos, not vindication, but inevitability. Your presence itself rewrites the narrative, proving that patience, nerve, and evolution are the only weapons required to claim what is rightfully yours. They pushed. They prodded. They laughed, thinking they knew the shape of your limits. But limits were never your language. Every test they threw became a lesson. Every attempt to break you became fuel. Every expectation they held became a mirror showing how far ahead you had already walked. And now the moment comes where they look up, blink, and understand the truth. You were never theirs to measure. Their arrogance collided with your evolution, and the result is undeniable. You stand above the assumptions, untangled from their judgment, and entirely awake. They see it now. The depth, the strategy, the quiet mastery they could never touch. They tested, and in doing so, they revealed what was always clear. Your rank was never theirs to comprehend. Every challenge thrown at you was never meant to stop you. It was meant to sort the weak from the awake. The world pushes, pokes, and laughs, thinking it can define your limits. But limits are illusions for those who follow the script. You learn to turn every shove into momentum, every obstacle into insight, every insult into fuel. They think they are the testers, but you are the architect of your evolution. And when the dust settles, they realize It wasn't them who had power over you. It was you who quietly controlled everything all along. Pain, pressure, mockery. They are just instruments in your symphony of strength. You don't crumble, you don't bend, you absorb, analyze, and advance. Every test, every trial, every so-called defeat becomes a blueprint for your next move. And while they celebrate small victories, you prepare silently for the ones that truly matter, the ones that make them stand in awe of your presence, incapable of ever matching the depth you carry within. This is the edge of comprehension for most, a place where patience meets fury, silence meets strategy, and restraint meets unleashed force. You move differently now. They misread you because they cannot fathom evolution in motion. They test because they do not realize that enduring is not a weakness, it is a weapon. And by the time they understand, it's already too late. You've grown while they assumed you were idle. You've learned while they distracted themselves with noise. You've prepared while they underestimated you. And now, the invisible hand of your will is steady, deliberate, and unstoppable in its quiet form. The testing phase was their gift. Their arrogance became your advantage. You rise not to punish them, not to prove them wrong, but to embody what they could never grasp, unwavering mastery over self, circumstance, and expectation. Whoa, did you feel that? That fire, that raw energy, that's you. You survived this video, and trust me, that means something. You stuck around while most would have clicked away, and that shows your hunger, your focus, your unstoppable mindset. Now, drop a comment below. Tell me what hit you hardest. Which truth burned inside you? Which part of your power are you finally ready to unleash? I want to hear your story. Because you, yes, you, are the real legend here. If you felt that spark, smash that like button. Share this with someone who needs to see it. Someone who's been underestimated, pushed aside, someone ready to rise like you. Well. You ever notice how quiet it gets when the truth finally walks in? The same mouths that screamed your name in lies can't even whisper now, huh? Oh, the tables turn so fast it almost looks like justice wearing your face. They said you were lost. No, you were learning. They said you were weak. Nah, you were waiting. They said you were fake. Yeah, right, while you were busy being realer than their entire act. You know what's funny? The truth doesn't need to fight, it just waits. And when it shows up, it hits harder than any revenge ever could. This is your moment. Not theirs. Not the crowd. Yours. You survived every whisper, every rumor, every twisted version of your name. And now everyone can finally see what you always knew deep down. You were never the villain. You were proof that silence can roar louder than gossip. Oh yeah. Let them talk. Let them explain why their stories don't match anymore. Let them squirm when people start asking the questions they tried to bury. Because the truth, it doesn't need a spotlight. It is the spotlight. And tonight, it's on you. You've been painted, mocked, doubted, and still stood tall. That's legendary energy. That's strength no rumor can break, no crowd can fake. So don't blink now. Don't scroll away. Because what's coming next? Oh, it's not just words. It's a reminder. A reminder of who you really are when the world tries to forget. Stay till the end. Because every second of this monologue peels another lie off your name. Every word is a mirror, showing you the truth they tried to hide. So hit that comment section. Tell the world who you are. Tell them what you've survived, because by the end of this, they'll know it too. You are the opposite of what they said, and now the whole world knows they're the liar. They painted you in their colors, because they feared what you'd look like in your own. Funny, isn't it? How people love to define others before ever understanding them. They build stories out of thin air and call them truths. They whisper their fears, twist your silence into guilt, and your calm into arrogance. The way they choreographed your downfall. So beautifully rehearsed, it almost looked like a performance. And yet, here you stand, untouched by the dirt they threw. Because deep down, everyone knows what they said about you was never you. They called you cold because you stopped explaining yourself. They called you arrogant because you refused to kneel. They called you fake because your peace didn't match their chaos. But truth? Truth was too heavy for them to carry. So they built lies light enough to throw. You watched them do it, piece by piece. They stitched your name into rumors, dressed it in poison, and fed it to every room that would listen. You saw their faces light up when others believed. Oh yeah, they thought that was the end of your story. They thought your silence was surrender. But silence is just the pause before revelation. They never realized you were letting them speak. Because lies, when spoken too long, start to sound desperate. And desperation exposes the liar faster than any confession ever could. You didn't need to defend yourself. The truth was doing it for you. Quietly, patiently, unapologetically. And now look around. The same mouths that spread your name with venom can't even say it without shaking. The same eyes that look down on you can't hold your gaze anymore. Because time, it doesn't lie. It reveals, it unwraps, it burns away the fake layers until only essence remains. They thought your fall would make them rise. But every time they spoke against you, they built their own cage, bar by bar, lie by lie. You didn't have to trap them. Their words did it for you. Every accusation, every rumor, it wasn't your destruction. See, the truth doesn't scream. It doesn't fight for the spotlight. It waits. And when it walks in, everything false collapses like dust. That's the thing about truth. It doesn't argue, it just is. You can't out-talk it, outsmart it, or outlast it. You can only hope it doesn't arrive while the crowd's still watching. And oh, when it did, the silence was deafening. The same people who once nodded at lies now look away, pretending they didn't know, pretending they weren't part of it. But they remember. They always remember. Because guilt doesn't wash off that easily. You learn something priceless in that storm. They don't hate you because of who you are. They hate you because of who they pretended you were. You broke their illusion. You reminded them of what real looks like. And real makes pretenders uncomfortable. Real exposes. Real frightens. Real stands tall when rumors crawl. They called you every name that made them feel safe. Because if they could define you, they could control the story. But the story slipped. Oh nah, it didn't just slip, it shattered. And the fragments of their lies are cutting their own hands now. You don't need revenge. You never did. Your existence authentic, unshaken, is punishment enough. Every breath you take, every calm step you walk, reminds them that truth doesn't need defense. It just needs time. And time. It has been kind to you, hasn't it? It showed everyone what you already knew. You were never what they said. You were the test they failed. A lie, shouted loud enough, will echo, but echoes fade when truth walks in. So they built a story, a loud one designed to drown your silence. Every word they crafted was another stone thrown into the still water of your peace. Ripples, noise, distraction. And for a while, it worked. People listened. People believed. Because noise always feels like truth to those who fear quiet. They didn't just lie about you. They needed to. Because your presence, your calm, your consistency, it reminded them of what they weren't. Their falsehoods weren't born from power. They were born from fear. You didn't threaten them by what you said. You threatened them by what you didn't. You lived right, stood straight, and that alone was enough to make them tremble. Yeah, they saw you walking through the chaos, untouched, and it made them sick. How could someone keep their dignity while being dragged through dirt? How could someone still speak with purpose after being mocked by those who barely knew themselves? That question haunted them, and in their jealousy they found their only weapon, deception. But deception has a flaw. It ages fast. Lies lose their shine. You can paint them with fancy words, wrap them in sympathy, even dress them with fake kindness. But once the light of truth hits, they crumble. And right now, those echoes they started, they're turning into whispers, fading, weak, because time has a cruel way of replaying what's real and erasing what's not. They said you were manipulative, yet you never begged for approval. They said you were arrogant, yet you lifted others when they fell. They said you were fake, yet your scars were real enough to make liars blush. Oh nah, they can't run from that. Because now everyone sees the contrast. You never needed to expose them. They exposed themselves trying to destroy you. You see, truth doesn't rush. It walks in when all noise has burned itself out. It doesn't announce its arrival. It simply stands and everything false bows down out of exhaustion. What they called your downfall was just the quiet rebuilding of your foundation. While they celebrated your supposed defeat, you were learning patience, learning control, learning how to fight without fists. And here's the irony. They called you dangerous because you didn't fight back. Because silence frightens those who live off chaos. They don't know what's coming next, and fear always fills the blanks they can't control. That's when it started turning, didn't it? When their stories began collapsing and their allies began questioning. When the echo they created bounced back and hit them, every whisper they started became a question mark above their name. It's poetic, really. The same mouths that tried to bury you now dig through their own dirt trying to survive the truth. You don't have to lift a finger. Just keep walking. Their echo is fading fast. When masks crack, faces panic. They thought the silence would bury you. They thought absence would erase you. But the strange thing about truth is it doesn't vanish. It regenerates. It waits. It grows stronger in the dark. And when it comes back, it doesn't knock. It breaks the door down. Oh wow, that's what happened, didn't it? One by one, their stories started falling apart. Their truths began to contradict. The people who once nodded along to their lies started seeing patterns, little inconsistencies, tiny slips. And just like that, the image they built of you started to fracture. Yeah, you could feel the shift. The same rooms that once whispered about you now grew quiet when you entered. The same people who once looked at you with judgment started looking with curiosity, because deep down they knew they'd been fooled. And nobody hates anything more than realizing they were part of a lie. You didn't need to shout, didn't need to prove, didn't need to remind them. The truth did all the talking for you. Every move you made, every action you took, every calm response, it tore holes in the fabric of their lies. You didn't win through anger. You won through integrity. That's the kind of victory that burns deeper than any revenge ever could. Oh nah, they weren't ready for that. They were prepared for a reaction, not resurrection. They expected you to fall apart, not rise in silence. They forgot what's built on truth doesn't crumble, what's built on patience doesn't fade. And now they're trapped in a reality they crafted. Their words are their bars, their denial is their sentence. And the more they try to rewrite history, the clearer the truth becomes. The beauty of it all? You never had to point fingers. You never had to expose anyone. Life did that. Consequence did that. You just kept walking straight while their paths twisted in circles. And now the crowd that once doubted you is turning their heads, not out of sympathy but out of respect, because it takes a certain kind of strength to endure being misunderstood and still not lose your balance. That's what breaks them now. The fact that after all they said, after all they tried, you're still standing, still calm, still real. Because nothing shakes a liar more than seeing the person they tried to destroy still breathing peace. Oh yeah, they can't process that. Because if you survived the worst they could create, what could possibly stop you next? And the silence you carry now, it's different. It's not the silence of pain, it's the silence of power. You don't need to clear your name anymore, it's already clear. Their lies are the dirt that washed itself off your shoes. You moved on without them, and that's the loudest message they'll ever hear. Funny, isn't it? They used your name to build their own relevance, and now that the truth has surfaced, your silence has made theirs irrelevant. When truth stops defending itself and starts fighting back, the world grows quiet. It always starts slow. A whisper here, a realization there. One person begins to question the story they were told, then another, and another, until suddenly there's a pause in the noise. Oh wow, that's when it begins, the shift. The awakening. People start seeing what was in front of them all along. The truth doesn't need to roar, it simply reveals. And that revelation, it's heavier than any rumor ever was. Yeah, now they're running out of excuses. You can see it in their eyes. The same ones who once smirked when you were dragged through dirt, now can't even meet your gaze. Their confidence is cracking. The lies they threw at you are circling back like shadows that forgot where they came from. Because that's how it works. Falsehoods never die clean, they rot. They stink, they return. You didn't need to lift a hand. You just needed to stay real. Every act of patience, every step of restraint, it was armor. And now, as their noise dies down, your silence sounds like thunder. Oh nah, they can't cover it anymore. The balance has shifted. The same truth they mocked is now exposing them one by one, quietly, methodically, inevitably. You see, truth doesn't just restore, it reclaims. It takes back every stolen word, every twisted meaning, every label they tried to glue to your name. It corrects the narrative, piece by piece. And as it does, something powerful happens. Those who once followed the crowd begin to question the crowd itself. They start asking, why did we believe them? And that question is fatal to deception. Because once people see the lie, they can never unsee it. And those who built their identity around your destruction, they start to crumble under the same weight they wished on you. Oh yeah, now they taste what it feels like to live in the shadow of falsehood. The very trap they set became their reality. You don't have to laugh, you don't have to gloat, just watch. The truth is doing what it always does, restoring balance. And the beauty of your silence is that it's not revenge, it's refinement. You didn't come out of this bitter. You came out clearer, stronger, unmoved by the noise of those who never understood peace. Because truth doesn't harden, it sharpens. It teaches you to move with precision, to choose your words like blades, to strike only when necessary. What they called weakness was actually discipline. What they mocked as silence was actually strength. They confused your calm for defeat. But calm is what comes right before control. And now you hold it, all of it. And now look at you, standing right where they said you'd never be, still breathing, still focused, still you. Oh, wow. Doesn't it burn them? To see the truth they buried come back louder than ever. Yeah, they tried to erase your name with lies, but the truth doesn't fade. It echoes. And guess what? That echo is shaking the walls of their fake confidence right now. Every rumor they built just crumbled under your silence. Every word they twisted turned into proof of who they really are. Oh nah. Don't you dare shrink yourself again. Don't you dare apologize for surviving their story. You earned your peace, your clarity, your power. And now it's not about revenge. It's about presence, about walking so calm that even their guilt can't stand next to you. You know what's wild? The same people who laughed when you fell are now quiet when you rise. That's how you know it's real. The truth won. It always does. And you became the example, the evidence, the living reminder that lies only last until the truth learns how to speak. So take a breath, look around, and own this moment. You're not their rumor. You're not their mistake. You're the lesson they'll remember for the rest of their lives. And to everyone who watched till the end, respect. You didn't just listen, you felt it. You've seen the fakes, you felt the hate, and you still showed up for truth. That's rare, that's real. You're part of this energy, the movement that turns silence into strength. So drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell them you're done being their story. Tell them the truth speaks for itself now. Because when they said you were broken, they forgot one thing. You were never broken. You were becoming. And now that the truth is free, there's no cage left to hold you.